to tell you about the reason why I moved out of my last place, if I may be indulgent, and of course I can because I got the microphone, so it's all good. We were at our last property for about 11 odd years. So we were there for a long time, and it was an old place, and nothing surprised me. So I was at a gig much like this a couple of months ago, and I got this text message from my neighbour, and the text message read, "Hey, have you left the hose on in the garage?" And I was like, wow, this is really specific. So I wrote back and wrote, no. That's what it called for. And then she wrote back and said, "It's probably a burst sewage pipe, it smells like shit." I was like, cool, I have this to look forward to now, okay? So I went home and I got there, and Paul, our little strata manager, was stomping around in his knee-high Wellington boots, and he looks at me, he's a bit stressed out, and he's like, "Ray, this is bad. It's a burst sewage pipe, it smells really bad." I was like, cool, thank you. He's like, "But get out your phone, take a couple of photos for insurance purposes." I was like, shit, thank you for the hot tip, Paul, I'll do that. So I got myself ready, I bent down and opened up this garage door, and sure enough, this 3 to 4 inch shitty tidal wave of water rolled out, okay? I'm talking brownie grey water, I'm talking shredded toilet paper, I'm talking proper nuggets of my neighbour's shit floating around everywhere. It was disgusting. And I stomped around 11 o'clock at night and took photos like a champ. And to make it even better, I went upstairs and then washed their shit out of my shoes and cried myself to sleep, okay? But I woke up in the morning, and technology has a really weird way of surprising you, because there was this alarm I'd never heard on my phone before. And I looked down at my phone and I was like, "Hey phone." My phone's like, "Hey Ray, I noticed you took a lot of photos last night. So I've taken the privilege of putting into a 43-second video montage. Complete with star wipes, zoom-ins, fade-outs, upbeat, jaunty jazz music. It's like, thank you, phone. That's perfect." And you know what I did with that? Hit forward, send it straight to the insurance company. You deal with that shit, okay? Yeah, that's the wrong microphone. There it is there. Off that one, I would like to tell you the story why I can never go back to that place as well. So, as I alluded to earlier, we were in that place for about 11 years, a lot of memories. My mother, who plays a pivotal role in this story, she knows the layout of our house intimately, okay? She knows the floor plan. She was there for a detailed end of lease clean, and she cleaned like a banshee. Like, she cleaned like only an Asian mother could, and almost passed out because of bleach, okay? Like, she's a fucking fiend in this thing. So, Mum knows our house well, remember that. So we're about to move, and because I'm a large child, I have a lot of large Lego sets that I can't move from place to place, and I don't drive either. So I asked Mum for a hand, and she came over because she's my mum. And she was there already. She's a little bit agitated. I was like, "Oh, what's happening, Mum?" And she's like, "Oh, I need to go to the toilet." It's like, "Here's the keys, off you go." And she went upstairs, and then for the next couple of minutes, I just moved my Lego pieces from the garage, which no longer had shit in it, into her car. And that was fine, and I just sat there in the passenger seat. So I looked at my watch, and about 15 minutes later, I was like, "Where the fuck is Mum?" And it gave me flashbacks to Kmart when I was 4, when I thought she abandoned me. So I started stressing out. I was like, maybe I should check on the old bird, okay? So I went upstairs, yelled out, "Mum," nothing. I was like, maybe she passed out in the bathroom because we didn't ventilate it. Like, she's just lying there sprawled because of bleach. I don't know. So I opened the door, "Mum," she's not there. And I was like, okay, she really has abandoned me. It's like, I'm going to have to learn how to drive and get my Lego home. Okay, so I get back downstairs, sit in the passenger seat, and then Mum appears, and she's doing like this shy laughter. She's like, legit. Like, I was like, okay, this is good. I was like, what happened? And she's like, "Oh, did something terribly embarrassing, Raymond." And she proceeded to tell me this story, okay? So I gave her the keys, and instead of going 2 levels up to our unit, Unit 8, she went 1 level up to Unit 4. She opens the door because it's unlocked, and she runs in and ignores the fact that this is a fully furnished unit. She hangs a left, because that's where the bathroom is, and takes the biggest shit I imagine she's ever taken in her life. So while she's sitting there having this shit, She's neglected to notice our 19-year-old neighbour is sitting there on the couch wondering why the fuck a 68-year-old Asian woman has rushed in and also knows exactly where the toilet is. So Mum is sitting there looking and wondering why Ray and Marissa have left their toiletries around. My neighbour has managed to collect herself and she knocks on the door and Mum thinks it's me giving her the hurry up, so she's like, I won't be long. She finishes, she collects up the toiletries in her hands because she thinks she's doing us a service. And she opens the door and she's standing there face to face with my 19-year-old neighbour. And then Mum looks at her and says, you must be one of Raymond's friends. Because of course, her 38-year-old son is friends with a 19-year-old girl. And this girl looks at her and says, no, I live here. So the cogs start turning in Mum's brain, but not fast enough. And she says, you must have moved in quickly. And this girl looks back at Mum and says, these are my toiletries. I live here. You need to leave. So Mum gets out and cue. So we get up to that point and there's just silence in the car and she's almost hysterical at this point. She's like, Raymond, talk to me! Raymond, just say something. It's like, I don't have anything to say to you, Mum. Like, this is the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard, okay? And then she projects on me. She's like, of course, this is my fault. Your embarrassing mother embarrassing you again. And it's like, yeah, this is actually your fault. It's like, oh, it's my fault. I went into another person's house and took a big poo in their bathroom. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's your fault. So we get home and I need to run a bit of damage control. So I was like, bye, Mum. I never want to see you again, okay? Get out my phone and text my neighbour. I was like, so sorry for what happened. And quick as a beat, without missing a flash, my neighbour texts me back and says, don't worry, it's probably going to end up in your garage anyway. Anyways, that is the end of Catchman Brew.